My dear brothers, in today's khutbah we will be speaking about something important and that we are entering and we are about to enter in this month. But before that, I want to mention something that happened 15, 16, 17 years ago before to myself and some other brothers when we were in a different city. When it was that last 10 day of Ramadan came, we said we're going to gather in masjid and we're going to stay in the masjid and so on. So subhanAllah, it turned out the Sheikh didn't came. And there wasn't anyone that was able to run the gathering and do something for us in that time. So the brothers, some of them, they went home. They said, what can we do? We can't do anything. Some brothers just sit there by not doing anything and so on. So this is the mistake that happened, but we tried to fix the situation and did something and so on. We gathered and anyway. So what I'm trying to say is that in this last 10 days, there are things that can be done you by yourself or in a group of people, in a home or in a masjid, wherever it could be. It's not necessary that it must be in a mosque, and it's not necessary that it must be in a group of people, and it's not necessary that one sheikh has to be with the brothers in the masjid, that so they practice this last 10 days. Because unfortunately people think that there must be someone there, and that's not true. One of the things that we could do in this last 10 days of Ramadan is lots and lots of salat. We could do Taraweeh, and after Taraweeh we can do what? We can do Qiyam al-Layl. Because Taraweeh is something, Qiyam al-Layl is something, and Witr is something else as well, as the scholars has mentioned it. And each of them has rules and regulation. So if you finish the Taraweeh, you could do the Qiyam al-Layl as well. And if you're tired, because you did too many times the same niyyah, you could change your niyyah and say, I pray for the sake of Allah, and I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's it. Don't say Qiyam al-Layl and don't say anything. Mutlaqan, just open it. You open your niyyah and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Man qama laylatul qadr imanan wa ihtisaban. Whomever standed up or stayed up. Which means that scholars, they say one of the meaning is that if you pray and you wanted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inshallah forgive you. So this salat, it can be in jama'ah, it can be by yourself, it can be in the mosque, it can be at home as well for everyone. The second thing is that we could do in this last 10 days is lots of dua. And especially that what Imam Ahmad ibn Majah and Tirmidhi mentioned there, and especially Tirmidhi said is sahih, that Aisha radiallahu anha said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what should I say if I wish to the Laylatul Qadr and all those last 10 days? What should I say? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him that you should say, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. And in another narration, Allahumma innaka afuun kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. But anyway, so you could make this dua as much as possible, in all the times, day and night, in sujood, in ruku', in all the time and all means, say and make this dua all the time. If you cannot speak Arabic and make dua in Arabic, you could memorize this small dua and make this dua in a sujood all the time and say this dua all the time. Another thing that we could do in this last 10 days inshallah is what? Is reading lots of Quran. Because this month is the month of Quran. If this month is the month of Quran, it means that there is something special about it. That is something that we need to look into it more. That means that we must read more Quran in this last 10 days. Because the Quran came down in this month, then it means it has something special in it that we have to take care of it all the time. Another good deed that we could do in this last 10 days is what? Is we could do lots of sadaqah, giving donation as much as possible in this last 10 days especially, because it's one of the good actions that it could be multiplied. We know in this last 10 days good actions and ibadahs will be multiplied by many times, isn't it? So making sadaqah is one of the good actions, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will repeated for you later on with many good rewards. Like Sheikh Zakaria Ansari, he says that all good actions in Ramadan is requested from the Muslim. Muslim should do so in Ramadan, especially the last 10 days. We must do good actions more and more and more often. And amongst those actions that we must do is the sadaqah, giving donations that we should do. Because why? Because he says, because every good action, it could be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alf sana, 1,000 years, good actions. So if you give donation 1,000 years, every day, so you get the same reward if you do it in one night in Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So that's why the scholars, they say the last 10 days we should give sadaqah as much as possible. The another thing that we have to be aware of is that Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 days is not especially in one night. We don't know when it is. As Imam Nawawi has mentioned, Laylatul Qadr, it moves, is unknowing night. But he says, and the scholars they mention, it could be 21st, 23rd, 25th or 27th. Amongst those nights, it could be the Laylatul Qadr. And the scholars, they say it's best that in last 10 days, all of it, we do as much as possible in the good actions and good deed. Why? Because we might miscount from the beginning or at the end. So we missed numbers. So that's why all the scholars, they say, so we don't miss out of Laylatul Qadr, try utmost best, last 10 days, do good actions as much as possible. The another thing is that I heard and I received and we were aware of it is that the sisters, when they get into this last 10 days and if they are in the monthly period, they think that they cannot be with us, do the ibadat, engage, be with a Muslim, to do good things and good ibadat, whether at home or in a mosque. And mosque, of course, there's different ulamas, different opinions for the sisters to come to mosque in the period time and so on. But she could do all of those good deeds, reading Qur'ans, doing sadaqah, and all of that, even if she is at her home. And nowadays, majority of the mosque, even if she cannot come to the mosque, majority of the mosque, they have online payment. She can still do the donation while she's at home as well. Read her Qur'an. As the scholars, they say, she can read the Quran by turning over the pages, whether someone turn it over for her, whether she reads there from her heart, or whether she wears gloves and then she reads there and she physically doesn't touch the Quran. What we mean by this, some sisters, when they are in a monthly period, they stop doing any sort of good actions and ibadat and saying that she is in the monthly period. No, she still can, and she is allowed to do other good actions and good deeds even if she is in the monthly period. So nothing should stop her. Yes, she can pray, yes, she can't fast, but she is still capable of doing other good deeds and good actions. The another good things about this last 10 days that we could do and is important, and I have mentioned it previously, but I say it again so we might not be here or we might came late or something like so, is i'tikaf. The i'tikaf is that you stay in the mosque the last 10 days. My dear brothers, first of all, we need to know i'tikaf is not only in Ramadan. You can do i'tikaf even outside Ramadan. It is permissible to do so. And inside Ramadan is not only you have to be the last 10 days. No, you can do i'tikaf, as the scholars they say, 1 day, 1 hour. Even some they mentioned, if a mosque has a 2-door, you come from one door and you go from the other door and you made a niyyah to do the i'tikaf by even going by, that's still considered as to be i'tikaf because you had the niyyah. So some brothers, they may be taxi driver, they may be having a business, they may have a shop and so on. It might be difficult for them to do the last 10 days might be even more difficult to do that 24 hours because they can't. They have a business to take care, isn't it? So they might want after Maghrib until Isha, they stay and do Tarawih and do i'tikaf. They are allowed to do so for that as well. Even if they want after Tarawih until Fajr, they still can do the niyyah of i'tikaf and do the i'tikaf. It's not that they must be 24 hours or it must be last 10 days. We say do it in the last 10 days whenever it's possible, day and night. This is another point as well. The scholars they mention, even i'tikaf, it can be in the daytime or nighttime. It is not that it is only nighttime. You can do it all the time, i'tikaf, and it's permissible for us to do so as much as possible. So we should do and we should try, and nothing should stop us as much as possible.